I've used painter's tape for work holding since I started using a CNC. It works great, but it does have its drawbacks. I typically cover the full base of the stock for security and to keep thin stock flat, which can be tedious and time consuming. Plus, the tape can leave residue on end mills when running through cuts. That's something you have to clean up after you've done the cuts. Needless to say, I've been working on an alternative. Let's see if I can use painter's tape to put an end to using painter's tape by making a vacuum clamp. Vacuum clamps use air pressure to hold stock in place on a CNC. Specifically, they use the pressure difference between a vacuum and the atmosphere to hold the stock in place. That pressure difference can be as much as 14.5 pounds per square inch. Here's the final product after a bit of post-processing to clean up fuzzies from the part surface and to add a push-to-connect port to introduce the vacuum. This actually doubles as both a vacuum clamp and a fixture for doing double-sided cuts, using the 4 removable metal pins threaded into the top of the clamp. Those pins serve a dual purpose, as you'll see in a bit. Okay, this looks good, but let's see if it actually works. The size and location of the vacuum cavity is adjustable using this flexible rubber gasket, simply by laying it into the grooves on the surface of the fixture to lay out the area you want to use for clamping. For convenience, I'm using a vacuum generator that's driven by compressed air, but you can equally use a shop vac to be able to drive the fixture. Okay, this static test was successful, but the ultimate test would be to do a real job, especially one that runs for a long time and uses a pretty aggressive toolpath. First, the rough in pass on side A. Mounting the stock is pretty easy. Just drop it in place on top of the gasketed area and turn on the vacuum. Setting 0 for side A is pretty straightforward. 0 on the bottom left hand corner to match the 0 that was set in the cam job. This test is using a 1/4 inch bit, 3mm depth of cut, and 100 inches a minute feed range. That is pushing the limits of the capacity of this machine. So far so good. The rough and pass runs flawlessly on side A. It took about a half an hour to run and there were no issues throughout the pass. Now we're running the finished pass at 150 inches a minute. With side A done, we need to flip the stock over to machine side B. Just turn off the vacuum to lift the part from the fixture. Before mounting the stock again, we need to insert the dowel pins, then 0 on the bottom left hand dowel pin. Once the zeroing is done, we push the stock onto the dowel pins in the right orientation to match the cam job. This test is without the vacuum to see if the dowel pins will provide enough holding force to hold the stock in place. The fixture works well for both use cases, both vacuum clamping and localization using dowel pins. Well, that's it. It looks like I have another tool in my CNC toolkit. Thanks for watching.